Back with the live streams again, guys. Okay, so I was supposed to do the live stream at 1 today in replace of a video because I really felt like doing one, but I'm sorry I was kind of late, by half an hour. First things first, if you guys haven't yet, go to my homepage and follow my Instagram because I just got it. And that's the place where I'll be posting mostly everything. There is no post right now, I'll be honest, but it's been really busy. But I will be posting a lot more things in the future. So go and follow that Instagram for me. And that's where I'll be putting everything, more than Facebook, more than Twitter. I don't really use those as much. So I'll be using Instagram mostly besides this YouTube channel. Today, if you have your own true scary stories, send me an email at horrorstudio1@gmail.com, and you can come in here and share your own stories. It's a drowsy, drizzly Sunday for me here in Canada. I don't know how's the weather with you guys. Has it started snowing yet? It should, but it hasn't for Canada, even for Canada. So send me a story. I'll narrate some stories. We'll just chill for about an hour, and send me your blank email at horrorstudio1@gmail.com if you want to get in here. To share a story or just talk to me and just say, hey, where's Christian? We miss Christian. Like, geez, like, I don't want to see you, HS1. You fucking, just whatever you want to say, basically. Just don't play copyrighted music. That's the only thing, Okay, so I'll go to the comments and see what you guys are saying in the chat, because as always, the chat is one of the best parts of my show. I wouldn't know what to do without you guys. Jesus Christ. And it's so weird. Like, for the past few weeks, everybody's YouTube channel has been kind of like going downhill. Not just mine, not just the horror community, but like even like PewDiePie has been going downhill. And I just started doing the live streams again. I did one 2 days ago, and then now I realized that my subscriber count has just like gone up, and it was going down for the longest time and just gone up again. So maybe I'll just be doing more of these again. And I honestly miss doing these. I'll be honest, but let's see what you guys have to say in the chat. My subscriber count has just like gone. Oh, that's me, myself. HS1 is the truth work ethic. Yeah, I know, man. I work hard. Dab, okay. I done that before. Go check my other live streams. HS1, you're awesome. Thank you, Double Expert 09. Hunter May says we like live streams. Yes. Chris Longo. Yeah, man. Get on the stream again, bro. Just send me an email at horrorstudio1@gmail.com. I'll be checking the emails regularly. Send it to me. All right, so without further ado, I have a couple stories from viewers. I haven't done this in a long time. Just narrate stories from viewers. I will be doing that for you guys. And then for those who want to come in, no one has sent me an email yet. That's very good, Even though you guys say you want to come in, you guys don't send the email. But send me a black email. I'll send you the link. So we have a few stories on here that I will narrate for you guys. Unpublished, unedited, let's not meet. Hi, my name is Raven, but I like to be referred to as Ray. I don't like sharing my real stories too much. I'm a writer, though. I've seen to be too young to be taken seriously, though. Your readings of True Advance make me rethink, since I did not want to tell the story and ruin what little positive image I've made for myself, but I will share it with you and your fans. So, here we go. I live in a small village within the northern half of the United States of America. We have 4 schools, a highly religious elementary school, a public elementary school, a small middle school, and a large high school. I went to the highly religious school for pre-K around when I was 3 because I was already reading and my parents were too busy for me. I used to be abused by my father at that time and had extreme discomfort around men, which probably saved my life. I got high praises from my 3 female teachers and female principal, but my male guy teacher was harsh and horrible to me. That increased my discomfort around men. It didn't help that the fact that he smelled of the peppermint alcohol my father loved at that point. Once I was finally old enough to go to kindergarten at another school, I was already terrified of men and could read at a 1st grade level. Among that, I was short, chubby little girl with bullies breathing down my neck a lot, so books were my best friend. That year in kindergarten, I was, of course, bullied a lot and unwatched by teachers since I was no trouble at all. That year in kindergarten, One day in spring, I was at recess and I was drawing 3D objects on the blacktop of the open part of fence. The fence covered around 75% of the giant playground at my school, and I was by the only open part, which is right by the road. And this man, this man that reminded me a lot of my past gym teacher, tall, bald, mid-30s with brown eyes that appeared blackish. He looked over and smiled this weird smile once he noticed my stare. I was really creeped out, so I ran over and talked to one of my favorite teachers about a book I had found that looked interesting. Later that week, I saw him driving past my siblings and I walking to school. I, like most kids, was ahead of my siblings, and once I saw him in his beat-up blue truck, I fell behind after his eyes landed on me. That same day, he passed by at recess again, but I hid, and the other kids watched my every move instead of the creepy man. After a month of the man's creepy stares at recess, and before school passes, my brother was sick and my sister was with her friends a block or so ahead of me. And guess who passed? Mr. Creeper himself, this time on a bike, and he stopped by me. Saying I was terrified would be an understatement. I was horrified. He started telling me I was a pretty little girl, and he asked me questions which I answered with mumbled little phrases. He didn't seem to take the hint. I didn't want him there. He wasn't doing anything bad, and I didn't think I was in any danger, but my mind was yelling at me to scream or run or do something. But I stayed quiet. That was until he touched my backside and tried to pick me up. That was it. I screamed loud, and I kicked about until he dropped me and jumped on his bike. He was gone before my older sister even noticed I was crying and running towards her. I don't know what would have happened if I didn't scream or if I had gone closer to the gap in the fence, since no one cared what I did. The last time I heard, he was in jail to be released in a couple years. So, as I hear a lot of my stories like my own, Mr. Creeper Guy, let's never meet again. Okay, so I'm going to send some links. So you guys have your own true scary stories similar to the one I just read. If it's a let's not meet, or if it's a ghost story or any kind of story, send me an email at horrorstudio1@gmail.com and I will get you in here. Let's look at the comments. Glenn. Ha. All right, let me drink some. Ghost family encounter. This happened to me when I was 9 years old. I was spending the summer in Jamaica with my grandmother. As I reached her yard, her many dogs, about 8, came up to us. The dogs started to wag their tails to me. My grandma told me the dogs only bark at the sight of strangers or weird things they see. Luckily, I was not a stranger to them. I read this story before. I read this story last stream. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I messed up. I read this story last stream. So this next story is about Gilberto, and he sent me many stories in the past. I think I've read some on my live streams, and I've also read some in the video as well. So I'm just going to narrate his story. Dog Demon. Hello, HS1. This is the 3rd story I've sent, and I'll be sending more. I was the one who sent the story of Marco coming back to bite my cheeks, which you read on the last stream. Most of the stories that I will send happened to my dad, and a few that's happened to me while we were in Mexico. By the way, my nickname is Gizzy. This happened to me when I was in Mexico. I was around 4 or 5 years old, and I'm not sure if it was a dream or it actually happened. A bit of information on the layout of the home we were living in at the time. The backyard had 5 trees, 4 in each corner and 1 in the middle. Since my dad was fixing the bathroom inside the house, we needed to go to the outhouse, located at the back in between the 2 trees. There's a tall brick fence around the edge of the yard with shards of broken glass on top to prevent people from jumping over. This is a form of security. That's a very harsh form of security, I just gotta say, sorry. My dad had a shit ton of animals in the backyard, and we had like 5 dogs, and they were smart as hell. Now back to the events. I remember it was dark, and I went out through the back door to use the outhouse. I remember that it was raining, and I didn't want to walk all the way to the end of the yard to where the outhouse was because I didn't want to get wet. So I just went to the left side of the door and peed facing on the trees in the corner. The night was very quiet. All the animals were asleep, and the only thing making sounds was the rain and the occasional thunder. Then, all of a sudden, not sure if it was thunder, but I heard a snarl-like sound and didn't pay much attention to it, but then I got a weird feeling of being watched. I looked up and saw a huge gray dog-like thing on top of the fence looking down at me, and his eyes were glowing a bright orange yellow. Keep in mind that all this happened at the same time that I was peeing, and I was damn near put my bird back while I was peeing and ran inside the house crying. My pants drenched in pee. Sorry. That was a random detail though. As as soon as I shut the door, all the animals in your backyard started to make noises. The dog barked, the chickens were crackling, the goats started to bleat. This was strange. And my mom saw me with my pants drenched and gave me a bath, put me to sleep, and I woke up like nothing happened. But then I think back on it. It almost feels like a dream, but I'm not too sure if it was because I was a little kid. I had a similar, not the peeing part, but I had a childhood dream as well when I was a kid and I was super young. I think I was even younger than when you were. I was like 1 or 2. I had this reoccurring nightmare because I think I told this story before where I lived in my grandparents' house and they live in kind of like a more rural part of the country, the place. I was living in Asia at the time, and then they had like a big garden out in the front, and I always would have this dream where I would just wake up and then nobody would know, and I would walk out, and then I would look out this garden, and I would see this like man with like a large brim hat, and he would be really far away, and then he would start coming like in a zigzag pattern, closer and closer and closer, like how in the Matrix where they're like really fast and you can't see him, or in Dragon Ball Z where the guy goes like that's how he would be, and then he would be right in front of my face, but I could never see his actual face because his brim hat would always like it was one of those Hawaiian hats or whatever, those straw hats, sorry, and then he would always be like covering his face, and I could never. That's how he would look like. That's how he would look all the time, and I just had this nightmare. I can't even sure if it was a nightmare because I was never really scared, but I just had this weird dream for like the 1-2 years I lived there, and I really don't know why. And it's just a memory in my mind. Like I've had so many dreams. Like I'm like in my 20s, but this dream of when I was like 2 or 3 years old, this reoccurring dream is the only reoccurring dream I've actually ever had. May have been a paranormal encounter. I don't know, but I don't know why. I always go back to remembering this dream. Maybe that it was a dream for you too. Maybe it was one of those, or it was real. I don't even know. But let me get a drink of water. My voice is so cracked. I just woke up. Aislinn says, I love you so much. Thank you, Matt. I love you too. All right, so I am going to send people some links because somebody sent me. All right, nice. Send you guys some links, dudes. So you guys have your own scary story. Send me a blank email. That's horrorstudio1@gmail.com, and yeah, I will send you the link. And by the way, if you guys haven't yet, go to my Instagram. It's on my Facebook. It's on my YouTube page, and go follow me. Even though I don't have posts, I will be posting more in the future, and it'll be my main post place. All right. Let me read another story, and then you guys can come in here. If you guys do come in here, please mute yourselves or try your best to mute yourselves when you come in here, because we have a session going on. All right, so this story has been actually sent to me and a bunch of other big horror YouTubers I see. Maybe it's been on like Mr. Nightmare, Corpse Husband. Hey, can you guys hear me right now? Please say in the comments if you guys can hear me. Please say in the comments. Please say in the comments if you guys can hear me. Hello? 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 Shit. Hello? Hello? Can you guys hear me? Yeah, okay, good. Because it says my thing got disconnected. Yeah, okay, thank you guys. Yeah, so go to my main YouTube page and you guys can find my Instagram. So I'm gonna narrate the next story and then yeah. Man, I'm always horrified of this like no sound thing, you know. So this story is called I Predicted How My Bully Would Die. My name is Lavinia, Lavinia, and I happened to predict how my tormentor would die. Her name was Gina, and she was so horrible to me throughout middle school, all the way up to when we finished school in high school. When I first met her in middle school, she was nice to me at first, until she came over to my house. Now, I'm not boasting at all. It took me a lot of convincing to allow her to come over because I didn't want her to know how wealthy I was. And I just hated the extra attention people gave me once they found out. I'm a very shy person, and I hate too much attention. But she managed to convince me to allow her to come over that one day, and so she did. From that day on, she just changed behaviors towards me. She kept ignoring me, and eventually ditched me to hang out with some other girls. She wasn't the brightest crayon in the packet, so she wasn't exactly rich, so now I think about it. That was probably what fueled her to hate me so much. So when she left me, I was gutted, but I managed to pull through because my friends come and go, right? But then she started picking on me with her new friends. All these girls were cruel. Thinking back on it, it makes me really upset. They would call me names like Ghost, mocking my skin color even though she was as pale as I was. Albino, because of how blonde my hair was, or Comey, which I had no idea what it meant until I got to high school. They would hide my stuff and have me look for it during recess until it was time to go home. They would pull my hair, push me down, and even they went as far as to punch me in the stomach when I once stood up to their tormenting. I loathed going to school, and it somehow got worse when I reached high school. I would beg my parents to move me from that school, and they wouldn't have any of it. They insisted that the school was prestigious and good for my education. Even when I told my mother that I was getting severely bullied, she told me to get over it and focus on my education because that was all I was there to do. And honestly, that broke me down even more. In high school, Gina would get the whole class to go against me, and I literally had no friends. Even if I sat alone quietly minding my own business, she would notice this and actively go out of her way to bully me and make me feel like crap. And I even attempted suicide twice because I can't handle the torment. And you would think that it would have made her tone down with the bullying, but it didn't at all. In fact, it got even worse, and she and her friends would chant horrible things at me, telling me to kill myself again or cut deeper. Everything was a living hell until I got to the senior year of high school. I had aged pretty well, and although my self esteem was crushed by all the bullying, it didn't seem like I was as ugly as I felt because I met Damien. He was the sweetest person I've ever come across, and unlike the other guys, he wouldn't give less of a damn about what Gina would say about me. There was even a time he stood up for me and put Gina down in front of everyone, to the point where Gina would not say anything whenever he was around me. He was my shield and my only companion. He even made me feel a little more confident in my own skin. He made me feel wanted and beautiful. The school prom came around, and my feet couldn't touch the ground. I was so excited to go out with him. I remember dolling up for the dance, feeling all confident and loved. We went together, and it was a blast at first. From the corner of my eye, I remember seeing Gina, dateless amongst her friends who had dates, giving me a menacing stare. Afterwards, I'll admit Damien and I drank a little at the after party, and we were a little tipsy, but we were still aware of our actions. I remember Damien telling me that we had to go out to get some fresh air because of how stuffy the whole room was. and it didn't really bother me that I would be staying alone, so I let him go and watched some drunken partygoers making a fool out of themselves. It was alright, until I noticed that he had been gone for a while and it started to bother me. I could see some of Gina's friends at the party, but thankfully, they didn't seem like they were in the mood to ridicule me. But it made me feel uneasy to be without Damien, so I left to go look for him. I had previously called him, but he didn't pick up any of my calls, so I was genuinely worried. I idly walked around the many cars parked along the driveway, desperately looking for Damien. I then saw a dimly lit car that looked familiar, and I tried calling Damien again to see a phone light up coincidentally in the vehicle and then go blank after I hung up. It was definitely Damien's phone, so in necessary curiosity, I walked over to the car to see what was going on. I opened it to see Gina and him together. They were obviously in the act of having sex. I'm from a religious family, believe it or not, and Damien knew about how I wanted to wait until marriage. He never pushed me about it or made such a fuss, and it made me love him even more. But now I knew why he didn't mind. I felt all the air that had been sucked out of me, and my knees felt very wobbly and weak. I remember leaning against another car and slouching down to the ground, bawling my eyes out. He began to quickly get dressed and get out of the car, saying, "I'm sorry, I can explain," along with, "She made me do it. I still love you." Long story cut short, Gina ruined that night. That was supposed to be the one of the only good nights of my high school years, and she stole the one person I loved and trusted. After that night, I didn't go back to my school and did the rest of my courses online or through a hired tutor. It didn't end there, though. I would get horrible texts sent to me through Facebook by Gina and her friends, and I would get scary messages from unknown numbers telling me to go die. At this point, I'd had enough and deleted all my social media accounts and changed my phone and SIM and changed my phone and SIM card and moved on with my life. It all got better from then on. I got into a great college and made some awesome friends who'd I never change for the world, and I met another guy who loves me for me. I forgot about Gina for a while until one night she randomly appeared in my dream. This was when things got really weird. In the dream, she was apologizing to me, crying her eyes out, and it was so weird because I actually felt bad for her and wanted to be friends again. Then I suddenly saw her in a car. She looked different, a lot older, but I could still tell it was her. She was driving peacefully until some massive truck came out of nowhere and rammed itself into her car, tipping it over before catching on fire and exploding with Gina still inside. I woke up to the sweating and my mouth dry. It was truly freaky. I wondered why, after forgetting about her for many months, she would just pop up out of nowhere in my dreams. The next morning, I felt ill, and it was like as if I was surrounded by a cloud of dread. I can't accurately describe the feeling, but it wasn't a nice one. A week later, as I was scrolling through my Facebook page, at this time I had made another Facebook account, and I saw plastered all over my timeline a post with a picture of Gina, with people commenting, "R.I.P., rest in peace, and you will be missed" on the post. And then I felt that same dread I had feeling a week before flow right back to me. In curiosity, I scrolled through to see the comments of people asking how she died. Apparently, she was driving down a highway, and she mistakenly drove past a red light and got hit by a large truck. On another post, someone put a pic photo of her car and it was totaled, completely squashed and damaged. There was no way anyone would have survived such a wreck. I noticed that the car had burns all over it, and I could feel the tips of my fingers run cold. I clicked out of the page and stared at the screen. The worst bit was that I could feel nothing. I felt absolutely nothing. I didn't cry. I didn't laugh. I couldn't do nothing. It was just surreal. I simply couldn't believe it was the reality. And reunited with some of her old friends, aka my old bullies. They were all in bad shape, and all of them began profusely apologizing and crying. I couldn't feel a thing, though. The only person I've told this to is my current fiance and some close friends, and they were all freaked out about the whole thing. But it's hard to think that I somehow managed to predict how my longtime tormentor would die. I know it's a bit too late, but Gina, I forgive you. That's hard fucking core, man. And then thanks for taking the time to read this. No problem. Wow, that's a great story. Jesus Christ. Woo! All right, so if you guys have your own true scary stories, send me and you want to come on the stream, send me a blank email at horrorstudio1@gmail.com. No one's come in yet, man. I've sent a bunch of links. It's weird. So let's read some comments, I guess. Yeah, this was a great story. Yeah. Richie is like the Asian Tales from the Crypt. Hi, Frankie, Dodie. Jamie's like, now I'm chicken. No, come in, man. Just come in. Yeah, so get the link. Just so people are asking about the cameras. You don't have to turn on the camera if you don't want to. You can turn it off. It doesn't matter. Just as long as we can hear your voice, that would be good. So if you guys want to come in, send me a blank email at horrorstudio1@gmail.com and then click the link to come into the stream, and you can talk to me or share your own stories. That would be good as well. Where's the link? Yeah, you would have to send me a blank email, and I would have to send it to you personally. So not everybody can get the link, because then or else everybody would come in here and it would just be like completely a disaster. Thank you, Jessica. All the Glenn jokes. Jesus. You deserve more subs. Thank you. I guess you got a lot more subs by doing live streams. So I mean, they probably will be doing a lot more of that in the future. So I'm just gonna read another story. Trying to find one actually. Do the emails. And if you guys, okay, just I'm not trying to rip on anybody, but I get a lot of emails from you guys that are like probably great stories, but you guys gotta like proofread what you guys like. Sometimes you don't have the patience to proofread every single story that we get. You guys can put some like commas and periods into your writing, and not just a wall of text. That would really help all of us out. Not just me. I'm speaking on behalf of the other horror narrators as well. So this story is called The Light, and it's by one of my fans, Amanda. I was 17, loved nature and being in the woods. My cousin and I lived very close proximity to each other, so we would all often gather for walks down the country road. We all lived on our trek backs in the large woods behind our homes. One afternoon, one cousin and I decided to go for a walk to the small creek about a mile down the road from my house. Lining the entire length of this road is that forest, mostly state land, with homes scattered on both sides of the road here and there, but not really close together. Our walk to the creek went without incident. It was the walk back to my place where shit got weird. About halfway back to my house, we passed a mobile home on our left, with the dense woods going from there to my driveway without a single home on either side of the road. We noticed and spoke about how dark it was getting and how unusual that was, considering it was a 30-minute walk at most from my house to the creek and back. We had left my house around 4:30 p.m., and it doesn't get dark at the time of year until 7 or at least or so. We were a little freaked out and began to speed up. That's when we noticed the light of the woods to the left of us. It was off-white, about the size of a baseball, bobbing through the trees alongside us. We called out thinking it was one of our cousins walking around with a flashlight, messing with us, because this thing was moving like someone carrying a flashlight would do. No answer. As I stared at it, I noticed it wasn't illuminating anything around it when it passed by the trees, and it wasn't casting a light out in front of it like a flashlight would. It moved fast to the edge of the woods, but wouldn't leave the tree line. It just hovered there. I picked up a nearby stick and threw it at the thing. It made a popping noise like a balloon pop and blinked out. We turned to run, and it lit up like an inch from my face. My cousin and I both screamed bloody murder and grabbed each other by the jackets, hair, and anything else we could. We immediately started booking it back to my place with the light right alongside us the whole time, but it never left the trees other than when it got in my face. After making it safe home, we calmed down a bit, but we noticed how long we'd been gone. We never stopped walking. Even after we noticed the light, we never stopped walking. We actually started walking faster when we figured out it wasn't anyone we knew or anyone at all. What normally would have taken half an hour at most ended up taking 2 hours. We only stopped once for a few seconds when we first noticed it. I haven't seen the light in many years, but you still can't walk down that road to this day at night without feeling some horrible fear, like you need to run right then. But as soon as you start, it feels like something's chasing you on your heels all the way. It's a horrible feeling. So what do you guys think? Could it have been a spirit, a wisp, or some other kind of entity entirely? I don't know what it was, or how we lost that much time. I've made it to that creek and back totally a million times without any trouble, but never after dark. People are like, trade voices with me. So we have someone in here. We have our first caller. Hey, what's up? You are Alexander Dar.
Yeah, Alexander.
Hey man, how old are you and where are you from, brother?
I'm from Serbia and I'm 21.
Oh my goodness. What time is it over there?
8 p.m.
8 p.m. Wow, you're at 6-hour difference from Canada. We're 2 right now. So you're the first person from Serbia to call. That's insane.
Yeah, I mean we're not that big of a country, so it's like underneath Hungary. We are in the Balkan region, so that's where I'm from.
Do you actually listen to me, man?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm actually a huge fan.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. Okay. So what kind of a story do you have?
I actually have like 3. Actually, it's not 3. It's 2 is in one, and 1 is a different one.
Okay.
So the first one is actually from Canada. I lived in Canada when I was like 5 years old. I lived in a part of Canada.
Which part, may I ask?
I actually forgot. I was like 5. Not really.
Because we're so big. Okay. Cool. Okay, so
I lived in Toronto. I know. I lived in Toronto.
That's where I live.
Yeah, I know.
Cool.
But yeah, my dad's a scientist, so he went with a research project. But we were in an old apartment building. Like the building was always creepy, especially our apartment. I always felt uncomfortable there, and I was like freaked out all the time. But this is a shadow person encounter.
Nice.
So it's like, yeah, we had friends over, and my parents. So the layout of our apartment was like it's a square wall, and you have the hallway goes into the kitchen. The kitchen goes into the dining area. The dining area goes into the living room, and the living room goes back into the hallway. So it's like a square.
Yeah.
And I was like, what, 5, 6, running around in circles, tracing my brother, and I saw a shadow on the wall. Okay. A giant shadow next to the door.
Okay.
And I was like, I thought first it was like my shadow, and I was like, hey, I was having fun with it because it's like a big shadow, and I was a curious kid.
Yeah.
So I would start moving my hands, but the shadow just stood with. It was a shadow of a man standing with its legs apart and its arms to the side. Okay. So it was like just standing there. And as I moved my arms, I realized it's not me. It wasn't moving. So I was like, okay. I turn around. There's nobody behind me. Behind me is the dining room light that's casting the shadow. but other than that light, there is no other light in the house that's turned on. So I start moving the pots, the pans, everything that's hanging. Maybe it's like something that's created the shadow. Actually, nothing moves it.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get freaked out. I look out the window. The blinds are closed, so nothing from the outside can be making it. So I'm like, okay. So I start freaking out and just like hyperventilating, and I run to my mother and just go to her and say, Mom, there's a man next to beside the door. And she just looks at me weird and just, okay, and gets up and goes to the door, and the shadow's totally gone.
Yeah.
And I'm like totally confused. I'm wide-eyed. I get goosebumps just telling it right now.
Yeah.
And she just looked at me confused. And years later, I still ask her, do you remember when I said that? She's like, yeah, and I just totally believe you. I've never felt this really comfortable in that apartment. You could actually sometimes hear like things that are like knocking and doors tapping, and like something wasn't right there. You could always say it's the apartment, but it wasn't that old. Also, we had a neighbor downstairs that was really, really creepy. She was an older woman, but that's a story for another time.
Yeah.
Years later, like I was 19, so I'm 21 now. It's like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I was back home in another part of Serbia. I study in one part and live in, and am from another city. I don't study where I live. So I was home, and it was like 4 a.m. and I went to bed and put my laptop up, and it was like dark, and I heard like something, like not a bit of knocking on the wood. It's not that hard. You could say it was my neighbors, but I turned around my head and I saw a black figure just go to the end of the room, crouch down, do something there, and just stand up and get out. And I thought it was my dad. Like it was 4 a.m. It was dark. I thought I was seeing things. And in the morning, I sit down for breakfast, and I was like, Dad, what were you doing so early up? And he was like, no, I was sleeping all night. Like I was like, but something was in my room. Like, no, it wasn't me. And I just flashed back to the age when I was like 5 or 6 years old in Canada, seeing that dark figure, and I was like freaked out again.
Do you think it's the same thing, or do you think it's two different?
Well, I think they're two different, but they are both the same type, like black figures. I was like freaked the fuck out. I couldn't. I still get goosebumps just telling the story. And the other story was like when I was like 3. We lived in a basement. It was like a family thing, so it was a house where my grandparents built it, and it was inherited to my parents. So we lived in the basement, and we were sleeping in one room in one bed, like all 4 of us. I have a younger brother and both parents. And as we were sleeping, we woke up the next morning, and we opened the door, and we see footsteps. Like somebody broke into our house actually while we were sleeping, like one wall beside them.
Yeah.
And they took some baby food, and I don't know what else they took, and they got out.
They took baby food.
Yeah.
Food. Of all the things.
We called the police. We called the police, and they came, and they were like, "Yeah, it's probably a junkie."
Oh, he was just hungry.
He just broke in through the door. There was just like a thin wooden door between us. I don't know how it would have ended, so I get freaked out from it now.
Or he was a guy with a baby, and his baby was gonna die, and he had to steal something, so he stole baby food.
Not really. It's totally the foot size was more like a teenager, more like a smaller,
like a kid.
So it was like, okay, no, not a kid, a teenager.
A
like,
teenager.
We're like 70s, 80s, so it wasn't a full-grown adult.
Yeah.
But it was a junkie, 100%. We had junkies in the area, so it was like, okay. I have a situation where my mom just got up one day going to work and goes to her car and just sees as she opens the door, she sees glass on the front seat of the car.
Okay.
She was like, okay, and we called the police, and they find a fragment of porcelain.
Of what?
So what they do, porcelain dolls. You know what porcelain dolls are?
Yeah.
So what they do is break the lamps inside cars and just flick them at windows, and they don't make a sound when they smash the window.
Okay.
And just they took the area and the GPS, so they robbed us.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean that gets robbed. I think in Canada too, it gets like the GPS. Like people just smash windows and take it because it's like worth.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah, I know.
It sucks. That's why my dad taught me to put the GPS, like to put it in like the compartment or something. Just don't let people see you have it. That's better. Not sure.
Yeah, we do that. It was in a compartment, but not the lower compartment where it's hard to see
But they just speculated you guys had it. They just took it.
It wouldn't. Yeah, they took the radio. They literally just pulled it out of the socket
Christ.
with all the wires just hanging out as they ripped out.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, that happened.
Okay. Okay. Well, which country it's in Serbia? You're talking about, right? This event.
Yeah. So,
oh my goodness. So, do you think you'll see those shadow people in the future? Do you think it'll happen to you again, or what?
no, it freaked me out both times. So I'm hoping really not. I mean, I actually had in Canada my toys disappear, things I cared about just disappear. I asked my parents, they did something. No.
But you
do say probably
that by sharing these stories, I've had people where they share the stories and then it made it worse.
I actually heard that. I mean,
Yeah.
you said that on multiple live streams, so I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm aware of that. But
thanks for taking the risk.
I haven't had things. Well, no problem.
Yeah, brother. All right. Well, thank you so much, man. Do you have anything to say to me before going, or?
Well, just that I'm a huge fan of your videos. I watch them every time they come out, and just keep up the great work.
Man, I never thought I would have somebody in Serbia listening to me, man. Thank you so much, dude. Do you guys have Asian?
I don't know. Do you know where it is, actually?
Yeah?
Do you know where it is?
I have a lot of friends from high school that are from there, but like on the map, I wouldn't know where it is. I know it's in Europe.
Oh, well, yeah, it's yeah. There are a lot of people from Serbia that came to Toronto.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a lot of friends from Serbia and from Croatia and from Bosnia.
Yeah. A lot of them from high school. So I mean, I know that, but I never, I wouldn't know, where it was exactly. But yeah. But
you can Google it.
Is there like Asian people in Serbia? Out of curiosity.
Well, we have, yeah, there are, but it's
like Chinatown and all that stuff going on there. No.
Actually, we have something that we call Chinese shops.
Oh, okay.
It's more like a joke within our people because those shops are.
It's a livelihood for us.
I know, but it's like they're really cheap in Serbia. Like when you want to buy something really cheap, you just go to the China shop. Like a joke.
Get out of here, man. I'm kidding, yo. I'm kidding. All right, yo. Thank you, brother.
Right.
Thank you, brother.
Goodbye.
All right, thanks, Alexander. Everybody. Well, this great guy. My first caller from Serbia. All right, so. I have a few more stories you gotta narrate. If you guys have your own true scary stories, send me a blank email at horrorstudio1@gmail.com and I'll get you in here, man. All right, let's narrate the story. This has already a great title. I don't even need to read the story, but the title is already like captivating as heck, and it's like so direct as well. Oh, they're saying I watch your videos and I'm Bosnian. Well, that's great, dudes. Thank you. Next story. I was almost kidnapped by 3 men after the movies. This incident happened 6 years ago. Thinking about it still creeps me out to this day. Before I begin, let me tell you a little bit about myself. At the time of the incident, I was a 15-year-old male living in a small town. I was a sophomore in high school and didn't have any friends. I was and still am very socially awkward, and I often stood in my room playing video games. Despite being 15, I looked as if I was 12 or 13 years old. I would often go out and do stuff on my own, like go to shop when I got my allowance or go out to do anything. Now with that out of the way, let's get on with what I need to say. One night, A foreign movie that I've been waiting for was scheduled to play at my local movie theater. It was a limited showing. It was only playing at the movie theater for a week. It would only play on one time during the week each day at 9:30 p.m. At around 8:45 p.m., I began walking to the movies by myself. From where I lived, the movie theater was a 20-minute walk. I didn't have a cell phone, but I had a watch, so I can at least keep track of time. Anyways, as I'm walking to the movies, I saw what appeared to be a homeless Caucasian man sitting on the ground by a supermarket I was passing by. He was, I want to say, about 10 to 15 feet away from me. The homeless man had a long brown beard, and he was wearing a brown sweater with his hood over his head. He was holding a sign that said, "I'm hungry. I have no food." From what I've seen, he looked like he was a middle-aged man. I also have to mention that near him was a red truck. I stopped to look at the truck as it caught my eye. The reason the truck caught my eye was because it looked like shit. There was fucking guy. There was a lot of dirt on the truck, and the passenger door looked as if someone punched it and made a dent. The homeless guy saw me. The homeless guy saw me look at him and the car, so he got up on his feet. By the way, there was no one else outside except for a few cars that were passing by. I immediately looked away from the man and the truck, and I continued walking. The homeless man starts walking towards me. "Hey!" The homeless man called out in a calm voice. I stopped and I looked at him. Yes," I asked. "How's your night going? What you up to?" asked the homeless man. My night is going okay. I'm just walking to a movie," I answered. "Oh yeah? What movie?" asked the homeless man. I told him about the foreign movie I was watching. "That's cool. I'm just sitting by the supermarket while holding up my sign, hoping to get some money because I have none. But I have no luck yet. But anyway, that's cool you're watching a movie," replied the homeless man. I found it a little creepy to be talking to a stranger in the night, but I figured that this guy was just trying to start an innocent conversation due to boredom, or maybe he was trying to lead the conversation to where he would ask for money. But I didn't want to give any money or be late to the movie. I have to go. The movie starts at 9:30, I said. "How about you come with me to my red truck real quick? I can drop you off. I also can give you some free snacks that are in the truck. I got a lot of popcorn and candy, and to top it off, I got a large amount of sausages and pizza, so you should come with me," the homeless man suggested. I immediately got creeped out when he said that. I also felt what he was saying was bullshit because I remember him holding up the sign saying he was hungry and had no food. If he was homeless and broke, how would he have any food in his truck, let alone a lot of food? And how would his car have gasoline anyways if he has no money to pay for gas? I looked at his truck again and noticed two dark figures sitting behind the driver's seat and the shotgun seat. I don't remember seeing them there when I first saw the truck, but I guess I didn't pay enough attention. Anyways, it was so dark that I couldn't see what the two figures looked like. Not even the dim light from the supermarket's mark sign was helping. The dark figures were still. They didn't move an inch. I would say that the figures did look masculine, though. I assumed that they were statues or big stuffed dolls due to them not moving. The homeless man looked back at his truck and then looked back at me. "I also have some Twinkies inside. Would you like some Twinkies?" I asked the homeless man as he began smiling. Despite being creeped out, I still wanted to be polite. No thanks. Bye," I said as I began walking, but at a faster pace just to get away from him. "Are you sure? I'm just trying to help you save some money, man. There's some yummy Twinkies in my truck with some cream inside," said the homeless man as he began walking back to the spot he was sitting. I didn't answer. I just kept walking very fast away from him. I tried to forget about it as I kept walking, but I couldn't. Unfortunately, it didn't end there. I eventually arrived at the movies at 9:12 p.m. to be exact. I got my ticket, and then I got my snacks, which consisted of a bag of popcorn without butter and some fruit punch. I headed to the movie auditorium, and I sat down on the left-end seat on the fourth row away from the screen. There were way more people in the auditorium than I expected. There was about 50 to 60 people, including myself, in the auditorium, so I sit for the next 10 minutes. So it's 5 minutes before the movie starts. and I actually forgot about the incident and was really excited to watch the movie that I've been waiting to see for the past 2 months prior to this night. I saw some more people walk into the auditorium. I want to say it was about 15 of them. Among them people was the homeless man. My body felt chills, and I felt as if my heart skipped a few beats. Is the sound on, guys? Is the sound on? Can you put in the comments if the sound's on? Sorry. I'm so paranoid. Is the sound on? Is the sound on? We're taking a break. It's an ad break. So, guys, is my mic working? Okay, let's go back to the story then. Someone said yes. My body felt chills, and I felt as if my heart skipped a few beats. This man must have followed me to the movies. How the hell did he get money to pay to watch the movie if he was homeless? I got really scared. He must be stalking me. The homeless man sat down in the middle seat on the uppermost row furthest from the screen. In other words, he was sitting on the seat against the wall where he had full view of the auditorium. When I looked at him, he began staring at me. I immediately looked away and put my attention to the screen. I continued looking at the screen for the next few minutes, waiting for the movie to begin playing. As the movie played throughout my time there, I would occasionally look behind me to see what he was doing. To my horror, he would still be staring at me. Once again, I will look back at the screen to continue watching the movie. I decided that I will run once the movie finishes. When the movie was beginning to end, I looked back one more time and saw him on his phone. It looks like he was texting someone. So a few minutes passed by, and the movie credits began rolling. I walked out of the auditorium as if everything was normal, so he wouldn't notice me being in a rush. Once I got to the hallway, I began running. I ran through the lobby and ran outside. His truck was near the entrance. At this point, I'm about 30 feet away from the movie theater on the sidewalk when I heard his voice again. "Hey, you want to ride home?" the homeless man loudly asked. I looked back at him and saw he was in front of the entrance. "No, thank you," I said, trying to be polite. The homeless man started to get mad. "No, you're coming in the truck with me whether you like it or not," yelled the homeless man as he walked towards his truck. I froze when he said that. I just stood there looking at him in terror. The next thing that happened was even more terrifying. Earlier I mentioned about the two dark figures in his truck. Well, they began walking out of the truck. The two figures walked towards the homeless guy and then looked at me. Both figures were men. The two were wearing brown sweaters just like the homeless guy with their hoods on. One of the guys had a mustache and the other guy had no facial hair. Unlike the homeless guy, the non-facial hair guy looked Hispanic, while the mustache man was African American. But just like the homeless guy, I don't know what their names were, but let's just give them their names. I'll call the non-facial guy Bill, and the mustache guy is Bob. "We can do this the easy way or the hard way," Bill said to me in anger. "No, please go away," I pleaded. "Get the fuck over here, kid," yelled Bob. I was scared shitless. Keep in mind that no one else was out there. Everyone must have been still in the movie theater. Luckily, the three men were 30 feet away from me. "Leave me alone," I yelled. I turned around and I began running like my life depended on it. Well, because it did. As I was running on the sidewalk, I heard the three men head inside the truck and turn it on. I immediately turned left on the sidewalk leading to the neighborhood I live in. Luckily, there were some bushes nearby, so I jumped in those bushes and hid myself there. I did watch through a little opening in the bush to see if they were coming. I saw the truck drive by on the road and then turn left to the neighborhood I was in. Since I was hiding behind the bushes, they didn't see me, so they kept driving straight into the neighborhood. I stood hiding behind the bushes a little while to see if they would come back to where I was at. For the next 40 minutes, I saw nothing. As a result, I left the bushes and headed home. Once I arrived home, I locked the front door. My parents were sleeping, so I didn't want to bother them by waking them up or anything. It was 12:56 in the morning. I didn't want to call the cops. I just wanted this night to be over, so I went straight to bed. The next morning, I did tell my parents what happened, and we called the cops. After I explained to the cops what happened, they went and investigated in the town for a week. The cops never found the men or their truck. I imagine that the men left town soon after the incident. I hope those men do get caught and arrested so they wouldn't try to victimize another person. I don't know what those guys wanted to do with me. My parents didn't allow me to go out at night alone anymore, which didn't bug me since I didn't plan on doing so anyways because of what happened. I've never seen those men since that night. I really hope I don't experience anything like that again. So, creepy homeless guy and his two buddies, let's never meet again. All right, so we have a caller in here. Is it Avon? Wow, we got some interesting names tonight, just like my name. Jeez, there's no Bobs or Bills tonight, yo. Hey,
it's Evan. It's Evan. It's
Evan.
spelled different. Yeah, it's spelled different.
That's cool. How old are you and where are you from, my friend?
I'm from Indiana and I'm 12.
Wow, you're only 12 years old. I feel so old. Thanks for making me feel old.
Sorry.
Okay, brother. So what? You're a boy.
No, I'm a girl. I just have a deep voice. I'm a tomboy.
Jesus Christ, I really can't tell these days, man. I'm so bad. I'm so sorry. So what kind of story do you have?
Well,
Yes.
hold on. My internet's cutting out.
No, you sound fine to me. You sound fine. Hi. Hello? Can you hear me? Wait, what? Wait, she's gone. God damn it. Did I just get pranked, bro? I gave you my heart, Evan. Now you just leave me hang. All right, so let's do Q&A then. The stream is gonna be over anyway. So guys, sorry if you guys couldn't come in. I sent a bunch of links, but yeah, I have to go. So we're gonna do some Q&A, and if you guys have any questions for me about just anything, I mean, whatever, like I'll answer them right now. It was just a prank, bro. It was a prank. Okay, so this, yo, you guys have some like math questions on the thing. Favorite horror narrator, Chris McPasta, son. Steven's like, it was so sad. Just a prank, bro. Do you watch The Walking Dead? I did until season 3, and I got kind of bored of it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for all the fans out there. I stopped watching after season 3. Aislinn is so nice. She keeps saying she loves me so much with like a million smiley faces. Thank you. Phantom of Darkness is here. You go check out his channel. He says be.busta is his favorite, honestly. He hasn't been putting out a lot of videos though. Everyone's really slowed down but me. Like I just keep doing this. Favorite movie? That is so hard, man. I watched every kind of movie, and I have like an Asian background, so I have a lot of Asian movies I like watching too. So it's like, it's just so many categories, dude. Do you go to school? Yeah, I'm going to school. I actually have an exam in like 2 days. I got a lot of shit going on with my life because I do like a lot of other stuff as well. Like I do a lot of like acting stuff, and like I'm actually a host on TV. That's pretty cool, huh? I should show you guys like a clip of me or something. But yeah, I do a lot of stuff on the side, and school, and YouTube, and a lot of stuff. So yeah, I gotta study for my exam, though. Favorite food? I actually don't like food that much, but I have like anything is fine. You have finals tomorrow. Well, my finals are coming up soon too. Are you richer than Trump? Yes. You have a lot of people have a test tomorrow, man. Yeah, I know it sucks, dude. But gotta all work hard together. You know what I'm saying? Work hard together. Do you like the USA? I've been there a couple of times. I've been to Vegas. I've been to Buffalo. I want to go to California, man. I want to go to the YouTube headquarters, and yeah, it's cool. I mean, in YouTube, you know, the ones with like over 1 million subs, they get an elevator that has your face on it. That's super cool, man. the YouTube place. So people are saying they can't get into the stream. I don't know why. Maybe the link's kind of messed up today, but the stream's gonna end soon anyways, guys. So I'm still getting a lot of emails right now. Don't send me the emails anymore because the stream's gonna end in like 10 minutes or something. Do you like music? I love music, son. I love singing, man. I want to be a singer someday. You know what I'm saying? What's your favorite anime? I guess that'd be Death Note and Dragon Ball Z. Okay. I've been watching Dragon Ball Super as well, but I don't know. I just don't like it as much as Dragon Ball Z. I don't know if you guys, yeah. I don't know if you guys like that. Phantom of Darkness says, yeah, dude, be.busta really does longer videos. Yeah, he does. They're like 40 minutes or like 15 minutes, dude. And you don't know anyone who is more active than me on YouTube. Well, horror narrators, I guess. I actually don't feel like I'm really active on YouTube because unlike other YouTubers, I don't really I'm kind of like, I just post videos, but like I don't really they have like fan art and they have a lot of stuff on the side, right? But I don't post any of that stuff. So I'm not super active as a maybe like a YouTube celebrity, but as a content creator, I'm active. Like I post every day, that's what I feel like I should be doing for you guys. It's the most important thing to me is to have content out, in my opinion. So, it can kill time for you guys. That's what's most important to me. Do you have any hobbies? Yeah, I like to sing and perform, dude. And I go to the gym. Can you sing for us? Maybe next time. I just woke up today. As you see, my voice is kind of raspy anyways. So I should have a singing channel on the side if you guys go check it out. Actually, it's so weird. Today's stream is more tame than before. I guess it's the morning. Nobody wants to say anything weird. Do you watch Naruto? No, I don't. Do you like painting? I actually used to paint when I was a kid. And I was never really that good at it, but my parents forced me to. They forced me to draw and piano, which I didn't like that much. So if you guys, what's it called? Haven't noticed already, I have a Instagram, so go follow me on Instagram. That's where I will be posting a majority of my other stuff. Besides this YouTube channel, I've kind of stopped using Facebook and Twitter. Well, Twitter I never really used. I was just kind of forced to use it. But Instagram, I'll try to post. I actually post things because I actually have 0 posts right now. But please go follow it just in case I do post, and then you won't miss it. So please do that for me. It's just go to my main YouTube page and you can click it there and see it. Anyways, I love you guys. I'll be doing a live stream more. I said I stopped. But I feel like they're a lot of fun again, and I'll be coming back and doing more. So peace. I gotta go. Love you guys. Thank you for all your support.